Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
How you doing?
Good. We're doing fine. How
How
about you?
many more days do you have?
Oh, we're doing fine.
How many more seclusion days, Aaron?
Why, did he get exposed?
That's what I'm told.
Go ahead,
Someone told me.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the May 11th regular city council meeting. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all.
Reminds me of my choir days singing a little opposite. Okay, first of all, the approval to the additions to the agenda.
I just want to make sure I have everyone here.
Okay.
Brad Person?
Can you hear me?
Yes. And Aaron Herzog?
Here.
Okay. We also have John Colstead on, and I'll turn him on if he's needed, and Cindy Musical. So that's everybody.
Okay, I'm going to read through what the additions to the agenda are. First of all, B under consent calendar, number 14 is additional bills for approval. C under the mayor's report, C4 is a letter dated from the Cross Lake Food Shelf requesting additional funds for the food shelf. And C4 is an email from Cindy Migato, the chamber, how to open your business.
And those are also on our webpage. If people want to go out and look at the website and follow that on the phone.
And all of these additions are out on our webpage under meetings and agendas if you'd like to see them right now.
Okay. Continuing on under administrator's report, 3B is an email from Chris Rosinger about the playground. Public Works, 2B, update on paving of Daggett Bay Road. 2C, email from Widseth Smith, crack sealing bids from Camco and Anderson Brothers. 2D, update on Perkins Road regarding debris cleanup. 2E, update on water quality project at Manhattan Point Boulevard. 2F, update on yard waste debris and public works facility. 2G is update on cemetery cleanup. Okay, so we're going to start with the consent calendar. All items listed here to be considered routine by the city council and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member so requests. Anybody have any questions?
Do you want approval of the additions first?
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve the additions to the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second for approving the additions to the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call because Aaron's on the phone.
Okay.
Andrews?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Nevin?
Yes.
Schrupp?
Yes.
Herzog?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consent calendar. As I stated earlier, does anybody have any questions on it?
No.
No questions.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Andrews,
I'll second it.
second by Schrupp. Okay, Shar?
All right. Schrupp?
Yes.
Herzog?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Nevin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next, the mayor and council member report. Number 1, Cindy Mugato of the chamber, reconfirm city's contribution to the fireworks. Cindy, do you want to speak to this?
I'll unmute her. There, ask her again.
Cindy, do you want to speak to the fireworks?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to reconfirm your position that you're going to allow the fireworks to take place on Saturday, July 4th off of Sand Island. The pyrotechnics are in place to do that. They have confirmed that they are able to do that. I've spoken with Brad Nelson at CNC Boatworks who confirmed that he would be able to haul the barges out there. Joel Pinnacle and Dick Gumquist and Tom Schneider would be available to, assist with all of the setup of the whole production. And we feel that, of course, social distancing is easy to do by boat. We would like to see that event take place this year. It will be the 50th year of the fireworks over Cross Lake.
I think the city needs to see a fireworks display, huh, Cindy?
I think they're having a hard time hearing you guys.
Oh. I think the city of Cross Lake needs to see a fireworks display. So is there anybody have any comments on this?
I think it's full speed ahead.
I agree.
Okay, somebody make a motion on it.
I don't think we need a motion.
Oh, we don't need a motion?
We don't need
You
it.
guys are on board?
Okay, we're on board, Cindy, it sounds like.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, can I jump in here, C1A, Shar? Can we talk about the,
We don't have a C1A.
I know, I just added one now.
Oh,
Cindy, do you want to kind of give us an update on, how should I say it, the county's workshop, or what the county's trying to do to open up the,
that is C5 on the agenda.
oh, okay, all right, excuse me, hang on, you'll have to come back. Okay, C2, update on the new City Hall project. Has anybody been over there at all?
Yes.
You have?
Only on the street. I haven't been inside.
Oh, okay, you've been there? Ted's there? It's coming along, they're gonna
Looking
put
good.
carpet in the end of the week.
I think all of you guys should get in there and
Yeah,
take a look around.
I don't know that I have to be there with you to go, but if you want me to, I sure would. But they're still on schedule to clean the last week in May and move in there the 1st of June. So,
This is Aaron. I've been over there and I liked what I saw. I didn't see anything that was caused me any concern.
yeah, okay, good. Any other comments on that or questions?
I didn't quite catch what you said, Dave.
Any other questions or comments on the City Hall?
Yeah, I went through the complex about a week ago and I liked what I saw.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Okay, moving on, 2A is a pay request from High Tech for $351,000. Has everybody looked through that?
Yes, I was going to ask if any staff had any questions. It looked straightforward to me, but I'm just asking the question. Is there any issues?
Oh, did you get all your furniture worked out? No change orders?
Yeah. No, I think.
So, I so move that we accept the pay request.
Okay, we got a motion by
I'll
Andy
second it.
and a second by Schrupp. Any discussion? What, Chip? What? Yeah. Well, there might be some bugs we got to step on later on, but
We'll be buying stuff on the way.
we'll deal with it. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Go ahead, Char.
Peacox,
Yes.
Nevin,
Yes.
Schrupp,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. C3 is commission appointments. So we've got a few commission appointments we have to do, and I'm going to read them. I hereby recommend the following appointments: Planning and Zoning. Jerome Voles to appointment to a first 3-year term. He just finished Aaron Herzog's term. So Jerome, welcome. Chris Graham is a alternate, appointed to the Planning and Zoning. Park and Rec, Chris Graham will be appointed to her first 3-year term, ending in 1/31/2024.
Dave, can I just stop
Sure,
you there?
sure.
I have the wrong year in here. All of these terms should end 2023.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, 2023. And then Sandy Milberg is appointment to her second 3-year term, ending in 2023. And then moving on to Public Works, Marcia Voles is appointed to her first 3-year term, and Dale Milberg is appointed to his second 3-year term. And the last one is Economic Development Authority, Dave Schrupp. I didn't talk to you. Are you going to reappoint?
Is this liaison?
You're actually a member,
Yeah,
as you vote.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
He's good. And a thank you to Tim Berg, who just completed his second term on Public Works. Thanks, Tim, for your service.
Need a motion on that?
Yep. Need a motion and a second?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Go ahead, Chuck.
Nevin,
Yep.
Schruck,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Peacock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next I'm going to read a letter from the Cross Lake Food Shelf. We are requesting additional funds from the City of Cross Lake for the Cross Lake Food Shelf. Any additional monetary donation would be greatly appreciated. In this time of uncertainty, our need is much greater than anticipated, and our number one priority is to keep our shelves stocked so we can feed the hungry in our area. Our intake of clients has drastically increased, and we are not sure how long this increase will last and when people will be going back to work. Our food shelf will assist our clients in any way possible, but our main concern is keeping food on the table for their families. A donation to Cross Lake Food Shelf would be appreciated. So
I tried reaching out to her today and didn't get an answer at her home phone or her cell phone number. So
Okay.
I don't know what amount she was looking for.
When did we last pay this? Like a month ago?
Yes.
$500?
Yes.
And where'd we get the money from?
Our general government budget.
I'll make a motion, we give another $500.
I'd second that.
Okay, discussion on that.
Do you really think that we should be donating money to a food shelf with taxpayers' money?
Is it legal for us to do that?
Yes.
Ethical and all that? Then yes, I think we should be.
Gary, I think it's a good question, because it is taxpayers' money. It's not like a personal donation.
I don't think we should be doing this, but
I'm all for doing some of it, but how much, I don't know.
Well, I think, and these are pretty interesting times we're in, and if the city in general can help out a little bit, I'm all in favor for it.
Brad Person, do you have any comments on this topic?
Well, you're legally allowed. That's an easier question than how much or which charities or those are harder questions.
I'm assuming there are individuals who are also donating to the food shelf. I have no idea what their additional donations are from Cross Lakers or other Cross Lake people or others.
The Cross Lake Lutheran Church had a fundraiser a week ago Sunday, and it was $2,300 they raised to give to the Cross Lake Food Shelf. So,
and they say money is the best for the food shelf because they can buy food at bulk prices, and that's how it makes the dollars go the best, is what I've heard in talking to people. I'm still sticking with my second to you on 500.
Yeah, and the only comment I'd add to that is I would increase that if I thought we could, but I'm in agreement to it too. So Doris, come back again next month. Okay, Shar, you can take the roll call. Yeah.
Nevin,
Yes.
Schruck,
yes?
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Peacock.
No.
Motion carries 4-1 with Peacocks opposed. I don't know if they can hear.
Okay, C5, can you let Cindy come back on?
Yes, sir.
Cindy, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, could you talk about this, the counties? I don't even see go ahead, you know what I'm talking about, the COVID-19 preparedness plan.
Yep, sure. So the governor has requested that as a condition of reopening business, a lot of the public facing businesses are going to have to create and complete a preparedness plan as recommended by Minnesota DEEP. So they have a template for businesses to complete that lists, 5 or 7 bullet points of situations that they want you to consider, such as, how customers are going to navigate safely through your business, where you're going to have hand sanitizer located, are you going to have the ability for them to wash their hands, how they open doors, and if you're going to wear face masks or all that kind of stuff. So Crowan County is partnering with all of the local chambers, NISWAC, Hagenna, the Brainerd Lake Chamber, all of the chambers in the area to get the information out to the businesses to create this preparedness plan. I urge that you guys in the city of Cross Lake to have the plan for your facility and your employees. The plan itemizes things so that your employees will feel safe in the workplace, your customers will feel safe in the workplace, and we are learning that is what's going to drive tourism this summer. I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you that we have about 14 weeks to make 75% of our revenue across Lake. So we need to send a message to Governor Walz that we are willing to do these templates. We are willing to comply with whatever we need to do to make people feel safe so that they will come to Cross Lake this summer. And frankly, with this, it's called Lake Country Cares is the campaign that we're starting, or we're embarking on, and it's twofold. One is to get the businesses to get on board and get their plans in so that we know that there's going to be a safe community for tourists to come this summer. And the sooner we can get that information to Governor Walz, the more likely he is going to be to open our businesses. So, time is of the essence. If anybody, if any business wants to give me a phone call, whether they're a chamber member or not, I can send them to the right place. And then the county is actually offering to review your preparedness plan and help you create it or review it and make sure it's on board. It's a free service they're willing to provide. And then you can download your plan to that website, which is going to be live, I believe, tomorrow. And it will be lakecountrycares.com, where you can submit your plan, have it listed on there under your business name, so you can see what other businesses are doing, get some ideas for them, and then the public can see your plan so they know that you're a safe business to come to. There's a few reasons why we're doing this. One is we don't want to become a hot spot. We absolutely don't want to become a hot spot with this coronavirus. So if we have all the businesses on board with the safety procedures, we should be a safe place to come. We want consumers to feel safe in our businesses. We're a community of senior citizens, so we want those folks and their families to know that their family members are safe in Cross Lake. And we want tourists to choose Cross Lake as a safe place to visit this summer. So with partnering with the county, we think we can achieve that and really stand out in the state of Minnesota as a welcoming place to be this summer.
Cindy, can I add a couple things to you, what you said there?
Tonight,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm getting some emails. The listeners cannot hear the council. They can hear everyone speaking on that conference phone, but they cannot hear any of you.
I don't know where the microphone is, Char, but I can hear you pretty well.
okay.
Everybody else is pretty echoey.
Sure, I'm going to come up here, and I just want to go over a couple things with you.
That's a lot better.
One is May 15th to August 15th is about 75% of the income that a lot of businesses in town get. That's the time frame. They got about 14 weeks. The campground is closed. You know, if that opens up, restaurants, groceries, gas, all that stuff. Businesses have to staff up. They got to order food. They got to order, whatever they got to do. It's going to take them a while to do it. And then finally, and you maybe know more about this than I do, but the payroll protection plan, that is set to expire, I believe, on the 18th, correct?
That was good for 8 weeks from the time of application, yes. So if the businesses apply for that early on, they have 8 weeks to spend it, yes.
So I believe that's on the 18th. So the point of this, we don't know what Governor Walz is going to do yet, but if he doesn't, if we could get him a letter before he makes his decision, and enough of these little towns can do it, and kind of sway his, try to push him over so we'll open it up at least partially, whatever he does. That's the purpose of this. Now, I've also got a letter that or actually you helped me. I'm not going to take credit for all of it.
Do you have your microphone on there?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking here.
They can't hear you
Who can?
when you're talking that way.
Oh, come on back. I'm here. I got a draft of a letter I'd like to send to the governor on behalf of the city and the entire council. We'll see if they agree with me or not. But Honorable Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, as the mayor of the city of Cross Lake, I recognize the seriousness of the COVID-19 pandemic and efforts made by federal, state, county, and local governments to protect the public's health and to slow the rate of transmission of COVID-19. However, the closure and or limited operations of businesses in our community, including bars, restaurants, fitness facilities, salons, small retail business, and other countless individuals, has taken its toll and seriously affected the economic future of our community, which is coming up on a 14-week window for tourism, our number one industry. The temporary closure of these small businesses, job furloughs, terminations, ushers in a real-life consequences for Cross Lake and all cities in the state of Minnesota. We feel all businesses should be considered essential and allowed to reopen. They can comply with the MDH and the CDC general guidance for mitigation strategies in the same manner, if not more effectively, than the big box stores that have been allowed to remain open. These small businesses will surely contribute less risk to the community than the big box stores. On behalf of the City Council and myself, we strongly encourage you to allow our small businesses to reopen on May 18th. Sincerely, David Nevin. So that's kind of a motion I'm making to the council here. We'll see where it goes.
Down and talk loud.
So I'm going to make that letter to the governor a motion to the council.
This is Herzog. I'll second the motion that Dave made.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any conversation about it?
I'm probably okay with it. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. It's hard to believe that exactly our letter is going to sway him one way or the other. But I think putting our idea that we'd like to get the small stores opened is good. The people I've talked to have actually got plans already in place. Everything from the co-op in Ideal Corners to Steve at the pharmacy to the Reeds. I mean, they're all doing a pretty good job. So I would support it. Obviously, if the number of cases start to mushroom, then we'll have a whole new program. But up to now, Crow Wing has done a fabulous job, in my opinion, of hunker down in place.
To add to that, Mr. Andrews, and Cindy, you might add to this too if you want, but she has checked with all the hospitals around, and they're all set. I mean, they've got beds, they've got equipment, staffed, they're ready for... I think what the governor has asked for us to prepare for, I think we are prepared for.
I have a couple comments here. I totally agree that we have to figure out a way to get the businesses back online. I really like what Cindy talked about, where all these different businesses that we don't know much about in detail, they're going to create a plan. I don't even know how many of these people have submitted plans. I don't know if they all can comply. And I don't know if they all can do this by May 18th. The plan makes a lot of sense because the people, anybody that's coming can go look online, look at the plan, make a decision whether or not they want to go to the establishment. So I'm all for it, but I think there's a couple comments about the third paragraph where it says they can comply with MDH and CDC general guidance for mitigation in the same manner, if not more effectively, than big box stores. That's an opinion, whoever wrote this. These small businesses must surely contribute less risk to the community than the big box stores. That's another opinion. I was in Costco and Menards in the past week. You don't get into a store there without a mask on. And I'm sorry to talk negatively about Reed's, but I don't know that they've adopted a policy like that. So if you're worried about getting the senior citizen population sick, you got to have a plan here. So if some of the things were removed from this letter, and I would alter the last sentence because I'm not sure we're going to be able to open something until the state agrees, then I would go along with it. I think May 18th is way too close. But I do endorse totally the plan that the county's put together for bringing stuff back online. I get that the hospitals are prepared, but I don't want to fill them up with people.
There's a lot of parts to that story. You know, they're going to fill up with people from a lot of different things. We need to get something going. This stating May 18th is not, you know, that's when he had planned to open it back up. To whatever degree he decides to, I mean, that's what we're still waiting to hear. What we're trying to do is not to get them not to put it off till June 14th and then take another look at it. We're just trying to encourage them to start something on the 18th. So.
I think you should all hold your mics in front.
So Cindy has tasked all the businesses in the area, not only town, in the whole area, to come up with their plan, and I think she wants them back by Friday, so that can be part of this letter going out. But,
You know, if I can say something,
sure.
businesses already have plans. They already do. This Lake Country Cares website that we're creating is really just an effort to show the governor that our businesses are serious and that we're ready to reopen and that the consumers can feel confident that we are putting plans in place to reopen. So there is a sense of urgency to it, though. Like Dave said, we have 14 weeks, and that starts May 15th. So we need to, by including that date, you know, May 18th in there, the governor understands that and this is just one letter of many cities across the state of Minnesota are submitting these letters. So it's really just adding one more to add a little pressure to the urgency of the situation. You know, our tourism communities are just going to suffer horribly if we don't get these communities open.
John Andrews here, Cindy and Dave. Would it be worthwhile putting something in a letter, Dave, about Cross Lake Cares, or that we're going to use the plan that's being designed by Crow Wing County, or something to add a little bit to it that shows that it's going to be complying with a program that's been thought out?
Well, Cindy, I'll defer that to you, if you wouldn't mind.
Cindy, hi, this is Dave Schrupp again. I totally agree with John. I think you can get, you know, if you can change that, delete some of the items on the third paragraph that are opinion, but describe just what you described to us, that the businesses have already talked about this. They have plans put together. I don't know if the plans comply with the state's guidelines or the federal government guidelines, but put that in there and state that they're ready to roll.
I think the point is, you guys, to get this letter to Walt tomorrow. I mean, we can write the letter over and over. I mean, the letter is pretty generic. If you look at some of the other community letters that have been out there, this one is just really generic, and you're stating that you want your business to open safely. You know, I don't think there's any danger in this letter, and it's pretty vague, really. I mean, we could get really down in the weeds and really detailed, but the bottom line is, you know, it's just adding to another pile of city letters.
Well, this Schrupp again, like I said, the third paragraph needs some work because I think it's opinion. And there's no facts on comparing small businesses to big box stores that I can see.
Well, Dave, you could compare Crow Wing County to Hennepin County too. You can compare things all over the place, and it's not fair. We're trying to get, I wish the governor
We don't,
would
I mean,
open
this
it
letter
up.
just showed up tonight. Show me some facts.
Well,
That's what I'm looking for, And we don't have any. We're
Okay.
just saying all the big box stores, we can do just as good, and I don't know that.
John Andrews, an idea. Potentially, you could cut out the third paragraph, and you'll still be where you want to be, especially if you want to get them to send a letter out tomorrow. You would have the first paragraph, the second paragraph, and you've got the third paragraph. Just makes it short and sweet. Another idea.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll ask that your motion get modified to delete the third paragraph, and then you can send it.
okay, we got that motion.
I'd second it.
Second by Andrews, go ahead.
Okay, do you and Aaron agree with those modifications?
I do, yeah.
Aaron, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Okay.
you ready to vote?
Yep.
Peacock,
Yes.
Nevin,
Yes.
Schrupp,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, Cindy, get to work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Cindy.
okay. Administrator's report, Mike?
All right, Mayor and Council, in your packet is item D1 is a letter from the Initiative Foundation listing some resources for COVID relief issues. So that's for information only. They'd ask that we share that with you at our next meeting. Moving on to item B, number 2. In your packet is it's a letter from Waste Partners talking about recycling. And the issue really around recycling is, the county consolidated the recycling sites. And there's two, they're proposing to have 2 sites in the county. One is at Ideal Transfer Station and the other one at the Crow Wing County Landfill. If you remember, prior to 2020, there were numerous sites around the county. And in an effort to try to consolidate those and make them work financially, the county's consolidated those sites. So what's happened is we've lost the ability to drop off recyclables at Cross Lake Roloff, which we did in the past. Now, the issue that it brings up is, what do we do about recycling? Or what should we do? Now, the county is planning, I believe, to discuss this topic on May 19th, at the May 19th meeting, to finalize the recycling plan. So it might be a little premature for us to act on anything now, but I would like to start the discussion on it based on some of the topics in this letter. And one of the things it addresses is our ordinance under, I believe, Chapter 40 talks about refuse pickup, but it doesn't address recycling specifically. Really all it requires is that a property have an arrangement for the trash to be picked up. It doesn't allow for recycling. Now, my understanding of what the state requires is the state of Minnesota says you can't charge, if you're a hauler, you can't charge more for recycling than the guy that doesn't. Can't tack on the fee. So what some cities do is they change the licensing for their refuse haulers. Say if you're going to haul trash in our city and get a license, you have to recycle. It's not a choice. Some of the haulers recycle in specific areas, and in specific areas they don't. It all depends on which service you're using. So really the only way for the city to force that issue is to require that they recycle, and there'll be a couple times a month pickup. So the purpose of the discussion tonight is to get you really thinking about it and start thinking about what do we want to do going forward. Some of that will depend on ultimately what the county decides to do, because we'll need to react to that in some way, shape, or form. But we'll also need to possibly address our ordinance based on what the council does. Okay? Any questions for me?
Do we need a special meeting after the county's meeting?
It's really up to what this group wants to do and what the council decides. We could.
Can we require every residence to have a trash hauler?
We do today, but the problem is not all the trash
There's
haulers.
a lot of them that don't.
We can require them to have one. We really don't have a good way to enforce it. What they do now is for the people that don't have pickup, one individual that called me said, we really miss the ability to recycle at Cross Lake Roll-Off. It was so convenient for us to drop things off on our way out of town. That's really the issue we're struggling with right now.
Something that we could bill for? I mean, there must be if we require everyone to have a trash hauler.
We do that now.
But we don't monitor it.
But we don't monitor it, no.
A couple of thoughts from the whole thing. I've gotten a little bit educated in the last month on recycling, especially plastic. It turns out the numbers from 1 to 7 were designed by the plastics industry back in the 1970s. And even though some of them say that we're recyclables, those 1 or 2s or 3s, in reality, most of them hit the landfill. It's just a matter of whose landfill. And since China's not taking plastics since 2018 or so, they basically are now hitting our landfill. My point is, we think we're doing good by recycling, but we're just putting them in one landfill versus another landfill. They do make money off of aluminum and some off of tin. I'm also aware that trash trucks are very heavy, and in some places I've lived in the past, they've been considered to be the main culprit for chewing up the roads. Cannot comment on Cross Lake. So there's some advantage to keeping a few different trash trucks on the same street as you can. So I think it might be worth discussing, but it sounds like to me we need to find out what the county's going to do first. For me, I have no problem taking stuff over to the Ideal Transfer Station.
I would encourage people to go to the May 19th meeting down at the county and voice your opinion to them. Did they hear that? Go down there anyway. Go down to the county meeting on the 19th and voice your opinion to them, see if we can change their mind. But I don't know what else to do.
In the meantime, I'll go ahead and forward each one of you a copy of our current ordinance so you can see what it entails today. And then in your packet is under item D2, is a copy of Pequot's ordinance on what they do right now with respect to recycling and licensing for that service, okay?
Can I just ask another question about this? Just the 1,000 feet in the sky, is this a similar situation in every county in the state where the county is responsible for recycling? I mean, if money were no object, could we work an arrangement with Cross Lake Roll-Off to take all of our recyclables, even though the county's working on their own plan?
$80,000 a year, I think, right? Yeah, if we want to pay them $80,000 a year, they do.
Right. But is there, as an example, they probably want aluminum. They could probably use that.
Well,
I just don't understand the plastic seems to be the big issue here.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just
can't
don't.
speak for the business model. As far as what other counties do, I'm sure they're all just a little bit different. But right now, we're kind of waiting to see what the growing county is going to do. Now remember, they used to give us about $30,000 in round numbers a year for an arrangement with Cross Lake Roll-Off. And basically what we did is we passed those funds through to Cross Lake Roll-Off. The program actually cost us about $5,000 more than that, and we just paid for that as a city. The problem that we're going to run into is if we try to do this ourselves, is we're going to have a lot of trouble trying to control who drops stuff off there.
And I'd go out on a limb, Mike, but I'll bet you 50% of the homes in Cross Lake don't have garbage pickup. I would almost go out and say that it's that much. So, for whatever that's worth too. But.
And the other thing that I'd comment on is that if it's not monitored, People put a lot of junk in there. I've seen plastic milk bottles put in the newspaper pile. If it's not monitored, some people will not follow the guidelines, and they just mess it up for everybody. And that's one of the big problems they have is contamination. So whatever we take on, we got to be clever about the manpower needed.
So we'll wait then.
Yep,
Right, all right.
that's correct. So good. Mission accomplished. We got the discussion going. So let's move on to item 3. Item 3 is an update on what are the city's reopening plans. You know, we've all talked, we heard some information from Cindy on what is your plan and where should you post it. Thanks to Chief Lohmiller. He's updated a plan for us that I have a draft of if anyone wants to see it. It's basically the same as what every other community is doing with the slight modifications, nothing real major. So what we're kind of waiting for is to see what the governor is going to tell us this week so we can modify our plans accordingly. But the requirement is to have a plan. In fact, a lot of the things in here are what we've been doing since we went on to the stay-at-home order. Now it's just in writing, so no surprises. And then we'll get that out to staff. They're already doing these things now. You see it tonight. There's hand sanitizer at the doors. We're taking your temperature. We're social distancing. This goes a little further, talks a little bit about hygiene and how often you clean things and what you should clean and when and those kinds of things. But with that in mind, what I'd like to bring to your attention is there's 2 emails that we printed out that are included in your packet, listed as 3A and 3B from people, and it addresses some of the issues with opening the playgrounds. When should we open them? What should we open? How should we do it? So what I'd like to do is ask TJ to talk a little bit about that because it mainly impacts TJ and his staff at the community center.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Like Mike mentioned, I will discuss the playground situation. We've been receiving numerous calls and emails asking to reopen, primarily because surrounding communities have decided to reopen their playgrounds. What we've been seeing, they take down their fence, they take down their closed signs, they replace those signs with ones that state staff will not be sanitizing the playground and use at your own risk. So we could explore that option, take down our snow fence, replace the closed signs with ones that say use at your own risk. And we could also provide a hand washing station. I can put up a picture on the board. My staff created a hand washing station for the gardens. All it is 2x4s and plywood, and we just ordered the materials to provide a 5-gallon jug of water to wash your hands.
I got to ask you a question on that, TJ. How are the gardens open and the playgrounds not?
Because you're primarily around your garden, we took away all the wheelbarrows and tools. So essentially, you can wash your hands, enter the gate, go to your specific garden, leave the garden, and then wash your hands again. So we're able to control that area and where they go. And in comparison, you can't really control where a kid goes on a playground and runs around. So that's kind of what we looked at, and I was
Do you
going...
have signage in the garden stating you're gardening at your
Yep.
own risk?
Yep, we have guidelines put up there, and we have guidelines put up in the dog park that only one group of a family can use either side of the dog park at one time. So all that signage is posted. So I guess what we have to decide right now is, do we keep the playground closed, or do we take down the fence and put that signage up, letting the members or users know that we are not sanitizing? Because
And you're talking about the ball fields and the playground, not the inside of the community.
this is just the playground. The ball fields have been open.
Okay, well, I think you should unquestionably open the playground.
And along with this is our tennis courts too.
And put the beware, equipment is not satisfied at your own risk.
I also support that. The outside places, pickleball, tennis, playground, and with appropriate notes that it's not being sanitized by
Big
staff.
letters, at your own risk. Let people make a choice.
This is an example of what I would put up at the tennis courts. The USTA came out with a documentation of what we can do to safely play. So I'd put this, and then I'd put a sign saying, use at your own risk, we are not sanitizing these gates. And
With equal lettering as the playing tennis safely is, I mean, bold, because that's all they're going to read. They're not going to read all that.
Right.
Yeah, is that a motion? Are we gonna?
So move.
Okay, motion by Anders,
I'll second it.
second by Schrupp. What do you got, Gary?
I have a question on restroom facilities there. Have you got enough restroom facilities if you open the playgrounds and everything? Because then are the people going to come inside, or what are you going to do there?
Well, we have the pavilion restrooms, but I don't feel comfortable opening them up just because of sanitation purposes. I was thinking we could get a couple satellite toilets rather than opening up those other restrooms at this point until things kind of calm down.
Either that or plant bigger trees.
Put some plywood up out there. Yeah, well, I think whatever you got to do to open it up, I think you got to do that, So we got a motion and a second, correct?
This is just the outside.
Yeah. And yes, your pickleball courts are included in that. Your pickleball courts are included in that, Mr. Schrupp.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand.
Are you ready to vote? Schrupp.
Yes?
Herzog. Aaron. Andrews.
Yes.
Hecox.
Yes.
Nevin.
Yes.
And let me just, we lost Aaron. No.
Can I ask you to talk about the library, TJ? The library has kind of become a, place your order and come to the door and get the book so that people understand that it's not totally closed.
Correct. Starting May 4th, we started a curbside pickup program for library materials. So you can call in Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 12. Go in our catalog, online catalog, pick the books you want to pick up, call in, and then from 1 to 3, you can come and pick up your books. And we are following all PPE guidelines. Jane is wearing a mask, gloves, and we are actually, when we get books back in the drop-off box, we are waiting for 24 hours before we hand those back out. A little quarantine process, so.
24, I thought it was 14 days.
That's for individuals, not objects.
Okay.
I'd say nice work on coming up with a plan that will hopefully work. Do you have a feel yet how many people are using the library under this system?
It's hard to judge right now because the word hasn't really got out. We put it in the paper, we put it on our city website and our Facebook page. So after we get that word spread out there, I think we'll be very busy with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
Did you want to say anything about cats? No. About cats? You're still getting messages?
I'm getting messages from Pat Netco that they cannot understand us or hear us at all. So we need a new plan for the future.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on to item 4 under my report. It's a memo from me regarding a new phone system for the City Hall and Police Facility. As you know, the phone system was not included in the bid from High Tech. So what we've done is we've gone over to Cross Lake Communications and said, look, we need some help with our phone system. You're providing our current service now. And in your packet is a request for us to go forward with the phone system they've quoted us. What we're looking at is a voice over IP phone. So we'll have improved connectivity and so forth with our new system. We looked at buy versus lease. We believe it's a better option for us to purchase the system and continue with our current service. So we're looking at approximately $5,100 to purchase the phone system. And that would include 20 phones, one Polycom station, similar to the one that's in here right now, and a few other peripherals for it to make the system work. They're looking to get approval for us to go forward with this. They'll order the system tomorrow, and it should be ready for installation the last week of this month. So, looking for a motion
I
to
make a motion to
approve that.
approve.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. I have nothing
Any other
further.
discussion on it?
You lost Aaron, so you can just.
Okay. So we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I don't understand. I assume the wiring's all in the building, but when they came to the phone system, they never added that.
Yep.
Yikes.
Shard?
Yep, you're back, Aaron. Would you like to vote on that?
Yes, I'm in favor of it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, is that all?
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Commission reports, TJ, you want to come up? All right, I have a memo dated May 4th, 2020. The subject, park dedications, Schaefer subdivision. The top piece there is pulled from the minutes, commission minutes held on September 25th, 2019. The Cross Lake Park Commission recommends to the City Council that $1,500 in lieu of land be collected from Zinda Schaefer subdivision. That was approved. They came back and filed a revised subdivision. Rather than splitting the property into 2 lots, they wanted to split it into 3. And from my understanding, that was to allow them to have access to the lake. So my recommendation, staff recommends to City Council that $3,000 in lieu of land be collected for the Zinda Schaefer subdivision, rather than 15. And the lot sizes, all that stuff, what you planning and zoning and everything's good?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion?
I'll second it.
Second? Roll call?
Peacock,
Yes.
Nevin,
Yes.
Schrupp,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to discuss my staffing situation at the community center. That involves my part-time staff and one other staff member that is in charge of Silver Sneakers, a contracted employee. So when this first happened, when we closed down, ordered by Governor Walz, we met and you made a motion to pay my staff for 2 weeks. After that 2 weeks elapsed, Mike and I discussed and we decided to go ahead and go through another pay period paying the staff. I want to ask you tonight, which direction do we want to go? Forward with paying them or furloughing them until further notice?
How many employees are we talking about total?
Off the top of my head, I don't know the exact number. 8, roughly. Yeah.
If employees were furloughed, do they have access to unemployment insurance or
Yes.
pay?
Yep, correct.
So how many of,
Including the contracted employee.
how many of the 8 employees would you furlough? You're not going to get rid of all of them.
Well, at this time, since our building is closed, we don't have any work for them to do. Their main job when we are open is to take care of users that come in, grab their paperwork, make sure they get to the right spot, and essentially clean in the morning and night. So right now, we don't have anything for them to do.
These are all part-time, yes?
Correct.
They're all the part-time employees. They're not the permanent
How many
employees.
full-timers do you have in addition to those 8?
2 maintenance and Jane.
Okay.
And you think you'll be able to keep up with
Oh, yeah.
everything? The issue I think we have here is that if you knew that on July 1, things would be better. We don't know. And we've talked about opening up outside activities. Inside is still a big if, and it's,
But you got grass cutting and, you know.
well, but they've got
That's my
people
maintenance
that are going to
employees.
do that. So
Yep.
The issue I see with once you open up inside, if the virus is still going around, which my guess is, you've got a major cleaning stuff you've got to keep doing every day. It's a very labor-intensive effort once you try to wipe down everything every day or between the employees.
You'll be able to get them back if you let them go?
Yes. Yep.
But if TJ is right, has nothing for them to do, I can understand why he's asking the question.
Right. I would go along with what you want to do. I'll make a motion that you lay them off, furlough them.
In furlough,
What's the
unemployment
difference?
goes week by week, correct? Week to week, weekly.
So it'd be
So
more
once
of
we
a
find out-
layoff.
so once we-
We're beyond furlough a week at a time, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it would be a layoff, so that they're entitled to unemployment. That's the motion.
I would second that based on what I know of the situation.
Okay, Shar?
Ready?
Yep.
Nevin,
Yep.
Schrock,
Yes?
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Hecox.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, lastly, I have an update on the pickleball and basketball courts project. I'll kind of run through this bullet point list. On April 15th, WSN staked the project site to develop a grading and paving plan. On April 20th, Holden Electric removed a light pole located within the project site. May 4th, underground utilities were located. May 7th, Anderson Brothers broke ground, signifying the official start of the project. They then cut material in the morning and started on the aggregate base, class 5 in the afternoon. And then on May 8th, Anderson Brothers completed construction of the aggregate base in preparation for the bituminous base course, which is set to be laid on Wednesday. So first lift on Wednesday and second lift possibly on Thursday or Friday.
And then when is the painting done?
Well, the next step after that would be fencing, and I did contact Elite Fencing 2 weeks ago. He put the order in for the materials, so once I'm ready to give them the call, they'll be over there to put the fence in. My staff will be tasked to put both hoops, basketball hoops up, and then after that, we will have Lee Sports come and surface the courts.
So you think in a couple weeks or so?
I'm hoping for 3 weeks until we wrap it up. That's the goal.
Good job.
And then you're going to have some rules for how to play pickleball safely.
Yep.
Right, good. All right,
That's all I have.
thank you.
Yep. Thanks, TJ.
Thank you.
Okay, Ted? The masked man.
Good evening. Good evening. The first thing on the agenda is from RL Larson Excavating for Daggett Bay Sanitary Sewer. So we have a pay request number 1 for $170,000. I need a motion on that, please.
So moved.
I second it.
Hecox,
Yes.
Nevin,
Yes.
Schrock,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next thing that's on the agenda is to discuss the paving of that road. Where we're at, the sewer is in. Anderson Brothers has still got to bring some more class 5 in. It'll be brought up to the grade. Then they'll come in and they'll put the first lift of asphalt down. Then all the iron, and by iron I mean all of the manholes, will be brought up to the surface of the road. And then the second wear course will go on that. That's all scheduled to be done by the 1st of June or thereabouts on that.
Ted, Lucy's a little concerned about the grade going into her driveway, so.
It's, right now, like I said, they are low with the class 5. They realize they made a mistake and they owe us more class 5 on that road.
And the soft spots in the road?
The soft spots have already been, I've been assured they're going to be dug out and new class 5 put in.
Okay, but they weren't today, but they're
No,
going.
that is in the schedule to get done, so.
Okay.
The next one that you have is we're looking for bids for crack sealing of our city roads. And we received 2 quotes, or two bids. one from Camco and one from Anderson Brothers. Camco was $79,500. Anderson Brothers was $89,958.61. Dave has reviewed these, and with that, we would like to award it to Camco. Dave, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Am I speaking wrong about something, Dave, or we're getting the two projects mixed up?
No, the crack sealing for the roads, recommended bid to accept is Camco's.
For $79,000.
That would be for the blow and go amount of $71,550.
Okay, yep.
Okay?
Yep. So we need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Ready to vote?
Yep.
Herzog.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Hecox.
Yes.
Nevin.
Yes.
Schrupp.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Here's my confused part. Camco gave us a bid for doing the route and seal that's going to be done before the seal coat of Manhattan. And the company that's going to be doing the seal coating for the county gave us a bid of $4,800. So this is where my confusion is. So we would like to award the $4,884 to the company that got the route and seal. Yes.
What is the name of that company?
Aztec. I'll make
Aztec.
a motion that we approve the $4,884 for routing and sealing of cracks on Manhattan Point Boulevard, Shadywood Street, and Summit Avenue, prior to seal coating.
I second that.
Andrews.
Yes.
Hecox.
Yes.
Nevin.
Yes.
Schrupp.
Yes.
Herzog.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, everybody's aware that we've taken a look at Perkins. We've awarded the contract, but we started seeing, you can look on your monitors, things like this show up along the project. You guys look at color pictures of it. The contractor is, this wasn't part of his bid to take this stuff into account. Some of these things might have been there and we just didn't know it, see it underneath all the snow. But some of it has shown up lately here. I guess what I would suggest is, rather than we get into a big fight with everybody that, this is part of your bid and you just take care of it, that we just take our dump truck out there when they start cutting the road in, we pick up the stuff, we take it to the landfill, and we get rid of it. We'll let them help us load it, and it'll be gone in $300-400, and we have it taken care of. That's what my suggestion would be with the materials. So,
Any chance of figuring out whose it is?
all I got to say is somebody dumped it on me.
Is one of those a boat?
I can't tell what that is. It looks like part of an old something in there.
I so move. I think that's the simplest way to do it. Costs us a little bit of money, but not bad if you get help from the people who are out there with their equipment at the same time. And if you're willing to donate a truck and a person to get it to the landfill, fantastic.
I mean, it's going to cost us a few $100s to dispose of it, but in the scope of the project, rather than have Broden take it, or have him add more cost to it and come back to us for a change order.
Yeah, I think that would be better. Assuming you have a budget can handle it somehow or another.
We'll figure it out.
So I'll make that motion.
So we got a motion by Andrews,
I'll second it.
second by Schrupp. Eric, I'd really like you to see if there's any licensing or anything on anything out there, though. But see if there's a fish house or something. There might be something. It'd be nice to know who did it. Okay, Sheriff.
Hecox.
Yes.
Nevitt.
Yes.
Schrupp.
Yes.
Herzog.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item E, well, let me just back up with that Perkins thing and the debris cleanup. In addition to that, this year we've taken in quite a bit of electronics, everything from paper shredders to TVs to computers to a little bit of everything. We literally have probably a dump truck load of electronics to recycle. Next, on the 20th, I called Char today and told her the county is having a electronics recycling. It does cost us something to get rid of it. Granted, some of the pieces are ours, pieces that have died over time, and we just pile them and then we get rid of it at the recycling. But we have gotten quite a bit out of the ditches and the roadways. I just want the council to be aware, this is, we don't have a recycling program, we don't do a big whole town cleanup or any of that kind of stuff. This is the kinds of stuff that's showing up on us. So I just wanted everybody to be aware that we do have problems with it. So
This happen every year?
there's some every year. This is probably more this year. The new TVs, they went to the new digital, and yeah, so everybody updated their TVs again.
Mayor, if I can,
Please.
if we can coordinate this with you, I mean, we've got monitors and keyboards and stuff that we're going to be needing to get rid of before we move here, or we can leave them with Chip, which is fine. No, did he leave? Oh, all right, that's no fun. But if we can, to make sure, and I think there's a lot of other cleanup that we're going to be doing, and there's going to be costs to that we're going to be getting rid of some stuff as we move over. So a dumpster probably. What's that? Yeah, a dumpster wouldn't be a bad idea, too.
And we've already kind of talked about that we'll probably park a dumpster out here as we start moving over there, the things that are broken and can't be salvaged, we
Can
will.
you recycle any of that stuff here? No?
Older monitors, older keyboards, probably not.
Well, if you can.
There's some value in the electronics. There's a company that breaks them down and takes the gold out of the circuit boards and all of that, but I don't know what it amounts to be. So,
All right.
let me get back to the water quality project on Manhattan. The bulldozer, I guess, moved in today. In the next few days, you should see them start to do clearing, and they should be starting on that finally, Chantel, on that project. Yard waste at the public works site. We're getting a lot of pretty high volume. Everybody's at the lake. Everybody's cleaning up. I mean, it was quite extreme there for a couple days. It's backed off a lot yet. People are pushing the envelope, what they're bringing in. Some pretty big stuff at times. We have to remind them we don't accept that. I've been called number one a couple times already, but I got big shoulders, so I'll take it. If it becomes a problem, like I said, I'll bring it back to you and we'll just close it down. So, what's that? Days of the week, right now we're doing it on Fridays and Saturdays. So far, we've only had one incident where somebody came there on a Sunday and flinged their bags off their car and just left them in front of our gate. We were wondering about opening it up one more day. I took it upon myself. I did open it up one Sunday because of the volume when we first started. It just was that much stuff. I mean, literally the guys had to push the pile up in the afternoon. It was that much stuff. They'd come in. So we are paying overtime. Realize this. We are paying overtime for somebody to come in and close this place down, push stuff up, and help monitor it. So it's a couple hours every day that they come in. So one of the things that Sharon that I've discussed is to open it on Friday and close it on Monday when we come back to work rather than paying the overtime. As long as it doesn't get out of hand, we could do that and try that for a little while.
There? Just leave it open?
Just leave it open. Keep monitoring it. The only thing that I'm concerned of is, like I said, it gets wild again.
Keep your current 2 days.
I wouldn't do that.
just leave it the way it is. And
Yep.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think-
you're gonna have all kinds of junk, couches, you're gonna have all kinds of junk down there.
well, we'll just keep going like we are, and we'll keep monitoring it. I'll keep you guys informed so everybody knows where we're at. And,
You got your camera working down there?
oh yeah, we got lots of pictures.
Any commercial guys going down there?
Nope, we had one local guy that has his own dump trailer, and we went and talked to him, and he explained that it was his own trailer, so. But he was good about it. He just had a lot coming out of his yard after all the snow and breaking the branches off his trees, so. Last one is we're gonna be doing a cleanup at the cemetery. Char's already posted the date in this week, and so we're just picking up the Christmas decorations and last year's Mother's Day and, the old stuff. So that's one thing we're in the process of doing, so. Otherwise, I have nothing else unless somebody's got something for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Attorney, Brad, you got anything?
No report.
Any new business? I guess the only new business I have is that we are tentatively scheduled to move into City Hall June 1. And we're probably, I don't know if we're going to have a meeting before that or not. I don't know what you're going to do moving. You guys are going to figure that out, right? So this could be our last scheduled regular meeting in
It
the
is our
new
last
fire
scheduled
hall.
meeting in here. I did get one email to read to you. It's from Pat Netco. I am listening into the council meeting. The sound is horrible. This needs to be on Zoom. I attend Zoom meetings regularly for church, chamber, etc. It works great and is very easy. The way you are doing this is not serving the public who wants to know what is going on. I want to tell the public that we plan on using Microsoft Teams for the next meeting, similar to Zoom, but has more security.
I will make a motion that at least for the next 3 months, we use that. Even though it might mean that we're not at the new city hall. It's easier for them to participate when they're at home. They probably won't be able to be at the new city hall in the next 3 months. I
Why
don't
would
see
you
that
go out
happening.
3 months on that?
Because I don't believe that we're going to be out of the woods next month.
Oh, well, that's kind of up to the
Well,
governor.
it's groups of 10 or less right now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
that's not gonna
opening it to
change.
50.
Right.
Right. Can't open City Hall. They'll have a better chance of seeing and participating through one of these
Well,
and hearing.
I think it'd serve the public better, Dave, if the public can get involved, and they could if we were on this Microsoft Messenger thing or whatever.
You should be able to see their face and hear them talk, and they should be able to hear us just fine.
I don't disagree, but I think June 1st, when you get in there, that's got to be a top priority, is to try to get the bugs out of it, so it's working.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Part of our problem is our sound system. We're limited what we can do with what we have.
yeah,
If we want to stuck a bunch of money into this, we could have, made this a Taj Mahal.
well, we've waited a long time, and now we got one more, I mean, we're there, but we just got to make sure that we use it before the meeting and make sure that it works. People have been complaining for quite a while about this, though.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, because I think there's a lot of advantages. We have people to participate.
Ready? Nevin?
Yep.
Schrupp?
Yes?
Herzog?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Peacock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any old business? Motion to adjourn?
So, second it.
Motion was second. You got a roll call that too, Shar?
No, if everybody hung up.
All right.
Nobody could hear anything. Probably could hear anything.
When I was doing it